Hey guys, how's it going? Yonka Hunter here, and today I'm going to be discussing how strong Crocodile is because personally I think he's a really underrated character because of how early he was introduced in the story. So many people seem to think that Crocodile is a weak character because he was beaten by Luffy at the beginning of the story, and while this is true, there's more to what happened there. Luffy had fought Crocodile twice before the fight, and he also knew his weakness, which is water or other wet things such as blood. This is also similar to when Luffy fought Enel on Skypiea because Luffy, he was using Enel's weakness, which is rubber, because rubber conducts electricity, to beat him. It didn't mean that Luffy was stronger than Enel, it simply meant that he was using his weakness against him. Furthermore, Oda didn't intend One Piece to be so long. He intended Alabasta to be one of the arcs more towards the middle of the story. Because of this, Crocodile now is seen as a character that was at the beginning of the story, but in fact he was meant to be one of the middle villains in the story. This means that his portrayal right now is that of a weaker character, whereas in reality he was supposed to be one of the mid-tier characters. Oda regrets introducing Crocodile so early in the story, and he later went on to say this. In order to properly scale Crocodile, we have to look at his portrayal later in the series to get an accurate scaling of how strong he is. At Marineford, he's portrayed to be at almost a Yonko Commander level. When Luffy was beaten by Magellan and impelled down, he was sent to level 5, which is for prisoners with bounties of over 100 million berries. Crocodile was sent to level 6, however. This indicates that the world government, or at least the people it impelled down, thought that Crocodile was more dangerous than pre-time skip Luffy. This says something because it clearly doesn't mean that Alabasta Luffy was stronger than Crocodile. That is far from the case. Other prisoners stored in level 6 include Ace, Jinbei, Shiryu of the Rain, Doflamingo, Douglas Bullet, Katarina Devon, and many more. It is only for the top tiers of the One Piece universe. It is also very possible that Crocodile is the very first person in the One Piece verse shown to have an awakened devil fruit. In Alabasta, he can turn the whole surrounding ground into sand, something very similar to what Doflamingo did with his string fruit in Dressrosa. Also, he mentioned that he has achieved mastery of his fruit. This doesn't completely indicate that he's awakened it, but there's a very good possibility that he has. Crocodile also has some very good strength and durability feats in Marineford. First off, he takes a hit from Diamond Jozu, which he wasn't expecting, and it was probably hockey infused. He then lands on his feet after the attack and doesn't even fully fall down. Although he does bleed, he takes minimal damage and is still able to fight after the hit. He definitely had a lot in the tank after this hit because after that he decided to pick a fight with Doflamingo, who's obviously very strong and is probably somewhere in the Yonko Commander range himself. This can be seen because Doflamingo is toying with Diamond Jozu, one of Whitebeard's commanders, and pretty much low-diffed him to the point where Diamond Jozu couldn't move at all. Diamond Jozu has a bounty of 925 million berries. This indicates that he is at least on the level of the other commanders. In the War of the Best, Crocodile also blocks an attack from Mihawk with his hook, which shows that he has crazy strength. Even if Mihawk wasn't going all out, it still takes a lot of strength to do that. Crocodile is obviously stronger than he was portrayed at the beginning of the series. In terms of how strong I think Crocodile is, I think he's slightly weaker than Yonko Commanders, and I think he deserves a bounty of maybe around 700 million. He was portrayed to be stronger than Luffy at the War of the Best by being put in level 6 instead of level 5, and Luffy's bounty at the time was 300 million berries, so I think that 700 million is definitely within reach because he was fighting with people like Doflamingo and Yonko Commanders at the War of the Best. However, I don't think he is as strong as a Yonko Commander, even a third Yonko Commander, because I don't think he can keep up with them. For example, Jozu, although he didn't do too much damage, he still damaged Crocodile, and I think Doflamingo would get the best of him, of course, so I think that he does deserve to have a bit more respect, but I don't think that he's quite as strong as someone like Jack or Cracker, for example. Overall, I think Crocodile is a really cool character. I think he's underrated, and I'd like to see more of him in the future of the story because I think he does have a bit of heart to him, even though he can have a really dark side sometimes. Also, I think he's a really badass villain at Alabasta, and I think that if he trained harder and entered the new world, he could become pretty strong and maybe get up to the 1 billion berry mark if he really worked for it. All in all, I think many characters in One Piece are underrated because of how early they were introduced in the story and how early they were beaten by Luffy, but in fact, characters like Enel or Crocodile are a lot stronger than they are portrayed. The power system in One Piece isn't a one-dimensional thing like Dragon Ball. There are different matchups, for example, lightning versus rubber, and that changes it. So it depends on who is fighting who, and there's not always an objective level to scale people at. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to be doing more content videos weekly, and I do a chapter review weekly. See you guys in the next video.